The Energy Regulatory Commission is confident the feared massive blackout in April will not happen. That's because 4 of its suspended commissioners are back at work. During the Senate hearing today, the ERC says it expects faster resolution of power concerns. Senate Committee of Energy Chair Win Gatchalian welcomes the ERC's projection that 100 cases pending with the agency can be resolved in 60 days. Cases range from power plant applications to renewals.
Magro-resolve sila ng 2 kaso for the next 60 days. No? So effectively, maraming mga kontratang ma-approve, maraming mga certificate of compliance ma-approve. At yung worry natin na magkakaroon ng brownout this coming April ay wala nang ganun.
The court allowed the commissioners to perform the role for only 60 days. Gatchalian says their suspension can either be restored after this period or be cleared. President Duterte appoints the executive minister of the local religious group, the Iglesia ni Cristo, as his special envoy for overseas Filipino concerns. Malacanang says Eduardo Villanueva Manalo's appointment papers were signed yesterday. The position was previously held by Roy Simatu before he became Environment Secretary. The influential religious group endorsed the candidacy of then Davao City Mayor Rodrigo Duterte in the 2016 presidential elections. Lawmakers at the House of Representatives tackle a number of proposals scrapping the expiration period on prepaid phone cards. Trisha Tarado reports live from the Batasan to tell us how the hearing turned out. So, Trisha, when will prepaid phone credits expire?
Yes, Pia, starting June this year, all prepaid load denominations will be valid for 1 year. This is according to telco representatives present at the congressional hearing on the removal of expiration dates on prepaid loads. Originally, this should have been implemented since January, but telcos asked for an extension to upgrade their systems. Now, lawmakers and experts slammed this plea, saying they could actually speed it up because currently the 1-year validity has already been implemented over load denominations amounting to 300 pesos and above.
We're using computers now. If they wanted to change expiries by tomorrow, they can do it by tomorrow. Meaning they will be able to earn a lot from the fact that expiries are short.
With the expanded validity of prepaid loads, telco representatives argue there is no need for a law since government agencies can enforce it. But lawmakers disagree because to them it seems like the NTC has difficulty enforcing its authority over telcos. They say it's about time to craft a law that would protect the consumers. Now, aside from prohibiting the expiration and the validity of prepaid load credits, lawmakers question telcos about the massive loss and deduction of load even before prepaid users could consume them. Telco representatives say they have systems in place to inform consumers when their load credits are deducted, but lawmakers were quick to point out that the current systems do not prevent unauthorized load deductions from happening.
Minsan, yung reklamo ng taong bayan, hindi niya alam kung paano niya nauubos yung load niya. At pagka biglang naubos at sinabing 50 na lang ang load mo, 50 centimos, galit na yung tao. Kaya isa doon sa mga nababangkit is sana magkaroon na rin ng billing ang prepaid na nakikita niya electronically. Para nang sa ganun, nakikita talaga kung nagagamit o hindi at paano nagamit.
Biglang minsan nagdi-disappear yung load. I think one of the reasons is because kahit sa postpaid nangyayari yun, yung merong automatic enrollment ng mga kung ano-anong promo. Sa postpaid, madali. You just reverse the billing. Sa prepaid, how does it work? Can you refund it through loading the customer? Because I don't want them to go to Globe pa at mag-reimburse sa 10 piso. Po kung napakadaling tumawag sa mga hotlines ninyo.
Lawmaker Winnie Castelo urges telcos to understand the plight or consider the plight of its consumers and the value of their hard-earned money. Pia?
In other news, back here at home, agriculture officials launched the Bigas ng Masa program to correct what it calls the age-old anomaly of controlling the food supply chain. An official says the National Food Authority will be subject of an audit amid reports of insufficient stocks of rice. Our Anjo Alimario has more.
Francia Estanislao Bagtas lined up early in the morning to buy 10 kilos of bigas ng masa at 380 pesos. This way cheaper than the 45 pesos per kilo she pays for the rice she usually buys.
Sana ganito na, lalo na sa magsasaka, direktahan na. Kumbaga, direktahan na. Kasi yung less, malaking bagay na maibibili namin sa ibang bagay.
But not all are thrilled by the program.
Itong isang araw na pagtitinda ni Secretary Piñol ay hindi naman yan yung kasagutan dun sa artificial shortage na nararanasan ng ating bansa.
Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol hits groups that are making it look like there is a rice shortage in the country. He says authorities on rice production check the country's rice production. It turns out the country is 96% sufficient in the staple. Piñol adds rice supply is above and beyond the national requirement. He knows the estimated buffer stock for the first quarter is good for 96 days, the highest in recent years. So where does the problem lie?
The food supply chain from the farm to the market has always been controlled by traders and middlemen.
And this is why Piñol says they came up with the Bigas ng Masa program. Why is there a shortage of subsidized rice from the National Food Authority? Piñol says the NFA has good intentions, but when it comes to allocations in specific regions,
Instead of the NFA rice, which is government subsidized, going to the retailers and the lower price of rice enjoyed by the consumers, maraming instances where the NFA rice is being sold to favored wholesalers.
Agriculture Undersecretary Ariel Cayanan reveals the NFA Council has issued a resolution to audit the agency's acquisition and distribution of rice.
Hindi po siya question of doubt. Hindi rin siya dahil na may irregularidad na ginagawa ang NFA. Ito ay normal na process na ginagawa sa isang government agency.
In a statement, the NFA welcomes the audit and the chance to clarify issues on distribution.
President Duterte is firm there will be a total deployment ban of OFWs to Kuwait. Last night, he welcomed hundreds of Filipinos who arrived from the Arab country. He handed out groceries and cash amounting to 15,000 pesos to each worker. They took advantage of the government's offer to fly them back home for free. The president couldn't help but express his dismay over Kuwait's handling of abused Filipinos. He used the president in his own words.
Anong nagawa ng Pilipinas? Nagsisilbi. Inaabuso ninyo, pinagsasampal ninyo. Ayaw naman kayo. Alam mo, Kuwait, ang mundo umiikot, ha? Minsan yan, mabilis masyado, baka mag-abot yan ng tinatawag na karma. When that time comes, you will remember us.
President vowed to find alternative workplaces for the OFWs. Options include China, Russia, and the Czech Republic. Those statements from President Duterte did not sit well with the Kuwaiti government. Its foreign minister says Mr. Duterte's, quote, escalation of the issue will not serve the interest of either the Philippines or Kuwait.
We actually condemn the statements of the President of the Philippines. And you know, we are communicating with the President of the Philippines and with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Philippines to try and explain the conditions of work of all Philippines workers. We have 130,000 Filipinos working in Kuwait. And they are the community that makes less problems. Of course, there are individual accidents that happen. However, we collaborate in the investigations with the Filipino authorities, so we are in direct communication. However, this escalation will not serve the interests of either Kuwait or the Philippines. The only solution is to cooperate and collaborate on the details of the very sad and unfortunate events that happened. Only this can help us get to the bottom of it, can help increase the cooperation between the two parties and increase the number of foreign Filipinos working in Kuwait.
Hundreds more workers from Kuwait are back home. They bring with them stories of hardship and difficulty in the Gulf state. CNN Philippines talks to some of them.
Pagkatulong ka, katulong ka. Yung parang talagang alipin ka talaga. Wala kang karapatan. Wala kang karapatan sumagot. Wala ka lahat. Wala. Kung ano lang sabihin nila, yun lang dapat mong sundin. Tumakbo kami. Nahawakan kami ng pulis, sabi sa akin. Akin na ang visa mo. Sabi ko, wala nga akong visa eh. Sabi niya, halika, sumama ka sa akin. Dalawa kami nun eh. Punta kami ko, sabi niya, sumakay ka sa sasakyan. Isakay kami ng sasakyan. Pakasakay namin ng sasakyan, dinala kami sa police station dito sa Farwania. Tapos sabi niya, tapos nakiusap ako, sabi namin, haram baba, sabi namin gano'n. May mga anak kami, may mga umaasa sa amin sa Pilipinas. Paano namin sila bubuhayin kung ikukulong mo kami?
Tumakas ako sa agency ko. Kasi nga ang agency ko ang kumukuha ng sahod. Ngayon, sa loob ng 3 taon ako naghirap sa labas. Sinisikap ko dahil single mom ako. Siyempre sa fact na wala kang visa, wala kang papel, pag may nakita ka kahit mobile lang, natatakot ka.
Nambubog siya, pinutulan niya yung buko, kutsilyo yung gamit niya. Tapos hindi lang isang beses, 2 beses talaga.
But despite the risks, some say they are still willing to go back, but not as domestic helpers. They will look for jobs which they describe as labas, or they will not work as stay-in house help to avoid falling victim again to abuse. This could entail working in restaurants, schools, and stores, which they say pay very well.
Ano man ang mga kahirapan mo doon, kailangan tiisin. Kung may chance, bakit hindi? Lumalaki ang anak ko eh.
Kung may pagkakataon, maganda naman talaga eh. Kasi ngayon, yung pinagtrabahuhan ko, maganda talaga. So, sa ano kami kasi, yung nagkikitering kami sa mga hotel.
The ban on sending workers to Kuwait has a few exemptions. For instance, returning workers are not covered. That's according to new Labor Department rules. At stake, though, is close to 54,000 job orders from the Arab country this year. Claire Yao tells us more.
The Labor Department has issued guidelines for the Kuwait deployment ban. Returning workers will be allowed to travel. This includes workers who are just in the country for a vacation, workers whose contracts have been renewed, and seafarers transiting through Kuwait. The government has no estimate of returning workers so far, but last year they accounted for 64,000 out of a total 113,000 Filipinos working in Kuwait.
We exempted from the total deployment ban the balik manggagawa, or the so-called returning workers. These are the type of workers who will go back to Kuwait either under a new contract or a contract that has already been started.
The deployment ban will focus on workers beginning new jobs in Kuwait. They include household service workers, semi-skilled workers, and even professionals. According to the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, about 3,500 workers were barred from traveling in January. If the ban continues, it could put on hold close to 54,000 new jobs requested by Kuwait. The POEA advises workers ask for new placements from recruiters. Singapore, Malaysia, Brunei, and Cyprus are just some of the countries where domestic helpers are in demand.
In Singapore alone, we have almost 150,000 job orders there. In Malaysia, there is an opening of around 30,000. So these are the markets that they could redeploy our HSWs.
A migration expert, however, warns this is easier said than done. A contract in Kuwait is not transferable to other countries, so a worker will have to start the job process all over again.
It takes almost 2 months to process a new contract worker. You have to send the resume, and then you have to have the contract signed there, verified by the Polo, together with all her passport details, and it comes back here, again to be approved by the POA.
At least for household service workers, recruiters are required to shoulder the job placement fees. But even then, the deployment ban comes at a significant cost.
Certainly, the emotional stress that they would like to start earning money, and they would like to fly to Kuwait, and then also the family is waiting. Obviously, if they were working by now, by next month they would have salaries. They would be able to feed their families.
The POEA is hopeful the deployment ban will be lifted in the near future. But officials won't rush unless they can guarantee the safety of Filipinos. Among their conditions, the Kuwaiti government must sign an agreement offering greater protection for OFWs. The POEA is also considering a new live-out scheme for domestic helpers to prevent physical and sexual abuse by their employers.